Bezrat Hashem, the Gemara this morning, Chulin, page 133a. So let's explain first of all that when people used to bring sacrifices to Bet HaMikdash, certain sacrifices, like for example Shulamim, the Kohen would get, right, some certain pieces of the sacrifices. Now, there were so many sacrifices and so many Kohanim, and the question is, in the Gemara this morning, Rav Yosef is asking his students, what do you think? Is it good for the Kohen to grab his pieces of the animal, and that way shows how much he loves the mitzvah of doing the sacrifice? Or, no, grabbing doesn't look good. He should wait that the owner of the sacrifice, after the sacrifice was slaughtered by the Kohen, should ask him, here, please, take the pieces that you merit, right? What should be done? So, Rava told Rav Yosef, it says, Venatan, you should give the Kohen, velo sheitol me'atzmo, and he should not take by himself. So in other words, we're saying that it's better for the Kohen to wait, that somebody should give him the pieces that he deserves from an animal he slaughtered. Amar Abaye, says Abaye, in the beginning, I thought it's a mitzvah to grab those presents, those pieces of the animal that I deserve. So therefore, I used to grab them. Once I heard this, right, this teaching, that you're not supposed to grab, you're supposed to get, so I didn't grab anymore. Then, says Abaye, then I heard something else, right? I heard that even asking for it, it's not good, right? So since then, I wouldn't ask anymore. If they would give me, I'll take. If they wouldn't give me, I wouldn't take. Then, says Rav Kahana, I tried not to take at all. Says Rabbi, I would try not to take the pieces of the animal at all, right? Besides Erev Yom HaKippurim, besides the day before Kippur, I would take. Why? Lachzuke nafshai bekarneh. So people should know I'm a Kohen. Why? Because if you refuse the whole year to take matnot kiuna, the presents the Kohen gets from the animals, then people will say, oh, maybe he has a problem. So therefore, he doesn't want to take those pieces because maybe he's not a Kohen. Same halacha we find about Birkat Kohanim. When we pray Shachrit, the Kohanim bless us. Yivacha Hashem mishmarecha, Yeher Hashem panav alecha yechuneka, Yisa Hashem panav alecha yisrael shalom. Now, sometimes certain Kohanim do not want to go up and bless. Why? Because they have a certain problem. They don't feel good about it, right? For example, let's say the Kohen is not Shomer Shabbat. So he doesn't feel comfortable to go up there and give a bracha to all the congregants when he himself is not Shomer Shabbat, right? But the thing is, if he always doesn't go up, then people wouldn't know the real reason. They wouldn't know that because he's not Shomer Shabbat. They would think maybe he's not a Kohen. Maybe his father or grandfather married a divorced lady. So from times to times, it will be a good thing that the Kohen should go up and give the bracha. For example, during the holidays, right? But if you're asking for the halacha, is a Kohen not Shomer Shabbat allowed to do Birkat Kohanim? The answer is, you let him do what he feels. You cannot tell him yes, and you cannot tell him no. So if he goes up there, right, and he gives us a bracha, that's acceptable. Why? Because, you believe it or not, a lot of Kohanim that we know that in the beginning they were not Shomer Shabbat, but because they felt it was wrong to go up and bless all the congregants when they're not Shomer Shabbat, at the end they had no choice, and by themselves they returned b'tshuva. So that's why, never block a person that wants to do a mitzvah. Don't tell him, oh, you don't eat kosher, or you're not Shomer Shabbat. Never block a person. Let him do what he feels has to be done. And the mitzvah has the power to change him and to bring him to be a real Shomer Shabbat, a real Osek B'mitzvot. So basically, never stop a Jew from doing a mitzvah. And why is that? Because we have 613 mitzvot, and the 613 are individual, which means Not because you don't do one mitzvah, you should not do another. If somebody is not Shomer Shabbat, that does not mean he cannot put tefillin. The same thing, somebody does not eat kosher, that does not mean that he's not allowed to do tefillah. Each mitzvah is individual. Even people practicing mitzvot. Sometimes you ask people, why don't you put tzitzit katan? He says, I can't put tzitzit katan because I don't wear a kippah a whole day. What does the tzitzit have to do with the kippah, right? There's two different things. Kippah is one mitzvah, and tzitzit katan is another mitzvah. Tzitzit katan goes under your clothes, right? And no one sees it. So even if you don't wear a kippah, you're allowed to wear a tzitzit katan. And so on and so forth. So if a Jew comes to do a mitzvah, never stop him. Let him do. Why? Because basically it's his neshama pushing him to do. And that's the small light which is going to bring a big light and shine upon this person to bring out the good and big light out of this person. Have a great day.